0 to 2400 combat power new guide. All right, guys, so showing you guys a 0 to 2400 free to play guide, how you guys can do it in about a week, maybe a little bit over a week if you guys are grinding every day. I'm going to show you guys the path of least resistance and what you should do to get to 2400. Now, before we start the video, I want to let you guys know I'm not at 2400. I'm only at 1600, but I know the tech. I've got friends that are well over 2400 that have kind of told me exactly what they do. So I'm going to drop that info for you guys on this video. And as long as you guys follow it to the T, you guys will be able to get to 2400 in a week's time grinding on Aion 2. So let's jump in here. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and again, I've made a video on this already, but I'm going to break down the 0 to 2400. So it's going to be a little bit more thorough. So if you want to get to that skill level, that combat power, you got to follow the steps. The first step is doing your main story quest. So you're going to want to knock that out as soon as you can. It's going to be your episode quests. There's going to be a bunch of quests here. They're the ones that are in yellow. You want to just knock that straight out. Main story quest is going to take you to level 45, and from level 45 there may be some times where you're stuck in the main story quest because you're not strong enough to proceed to the next part of the main storyline. If this happens, you're going to want to do your side quests, which are going to be the green quests or the regional quests, and they're also going to be your side content like the sealed dungeons and also the strongholds, which I've done here. You can see here my sealed dungeons is at 100% and my strongholds are at 100%. But essentially you're just going to want to do that side content so that you can proceed through the main story quest. So you guys might get stuck a little bit here and there. Totally normal. It's expected. You may need to knock out a few of those additional side quests just to get you over the over the hump, and then you'll be able to start the main story quest again and then just continue through level 45. Now, one tip I'm going to give you guys is every day that you're logged into the game, you're going to be getting these points called odil points, and essentially they're these currency that you get for just logging into the game. And as time passes, these odil energies, you can use them for doing like dungeon essentially. What I'm going to caution you is do not use them early on. Just stack them. They go to 560. Stack them for your first couple of days and don't do any of these dungeons off the rip. I'm going to explain a little bit later why, but you can see that these dungeons cost about 20 here. As you go through harder ones, they cost a little bit more, and as you go through the challenge dungeons, they go all the way up to 40 a pop. Okay, so whatever you do, don't do your dungeons off the rip. I know you're like, well, I need gear and all that stuff. Don't worry, we're going to cover how you get all that. Just a little tip, if you guys want to stay ahead of the curve, don't do your dungeons. Don't spend any of those coins on the dungeons just yet. Now, once you've done that and you've gone through the story and now you're level 45, right as you hit level 45, the story should take you to about 1000 to 1100 combat power, just getting straight done with the story. So right when you finish that, you'll be somewhere around 1000 to 1100 combat power. And you can be, you can expect to be around that. You might be a little bit more, you might be a little bit less, but on average, based on how the story goes and the requirements needed to complete the story, that should put you at around that 1000 to 1100 combat power. Now, after the story is done, what you guys are going to want to do is complete all of your side content. So this is going to be doing all your regional quests, which are the green quests. This is going to be completing all of the sealed dungeon, right? There's like 50 or 60 sealed dungeons that you're going to want to do. And then there's strongholds. There's like 20 strongholds that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to knock all of that out after you get to level 45. You want to do that immediately. The reason you want to do that is because on the sealed dungeons and the strongholds, they're going to give you Divinian points, and you're going to need these Divinian points to level up your Divinian board. We'll talk about this later, but I did already talk about it on one of my past videos, which you guys can watch if you look at the playlist. But you're going to get most of your combat power from these Divinian boards. So you're going to want to do your sealed dungeons both on your side and also on the enemy side. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But as long as you do that, you'll be able to get more combat power and start building towards getting about 13 to 1400 combat power. Okay, another thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get all of your feathers. Okay, so we're going to show some footage here of the feathers. You guys should be looking at that footage now. And essentially, it's all these feathers are all over the place, right? You pretty much want to go throughout the entire map and you want to locate these feathers and you want to go ahead and interact with them. because as you interact with the feathers, they're going to be giving you the feather currency, and you're going to be able to use that feather currency so that you can go ahead and turn it into the monolith and level up both your amulet and also get more skills on your amulet so that you can get it leveled up and you can get it to gold eventually. That's what you want to do, is you want to get it to gold, and the only way to do that is with capturing the feathers. Now they did buff it a little bit now, where one feather is actually going to give you 4 feathers, whereas before one feather was only giving you 1 feather. So they did buff it. You get 4 times the rewards now, which is great. And if you manage to get all the feathers, what you can do is you can get the leftover feathers that you have, and you can transfer them into essence. So you can get the essence that you need to tap your gear by just collecting the feathers. So getting those feathers is super important. You're going to want to do that after you're level 45 so that you can go ahead and tap your amulet and also tap your belt by doing all of the strongholds. In the strongholds, you're going to be getting the material that you need to tap your belt so that you can get your belt from gold or from green to blue, and then from blue to eventually get gold. And you're going to get a huge power spike when you do that. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you prio getting those feathers and doing your side content. And also you're going to want to be doing your duty quests. So your duty quests are very important as well. We're going to go ahead and show some clips about the duty quests right now. So let me just go ahead and cut to that. All right, so once you're level 45, you get access to these duty quests, and the duty quests are pretty strong because essentially what you're doing is it's PvP content, but you're doing it on your PvE side, and you can do 5 of these quests a day. I'm gonna go ahead and cut and show you guys what the quests look like so that you guys can see the rewards and how easy it is to do the quest. But you can see I'm already somewhat close to where the quest is, so we're just gonna fly over there and do one of these quests so I can show you. But essentially you can do 5 of them a day. So you want to go find the purple mobs and just kill them really quick, burst them down, and just go through the quest, whatever the quest is telling you to do. Sometimes you got to collect things, other times you got to fight mobs. You want to just do whatever the quest is telling you to do really quickly, and then you can go ahead and get the rewards for that. The reason you want to do this part with the duty quest is because you're going to get abyss points, and with the abyss points, what you can do is buy PvP gear that's really strong. And it has great additives on the armor pieces and the weapons and accessories that's going to help you scale in PvP. So if you're like a big PvPer and you guys like that content, that's kind of like your end game content is the PvP and fight other people in the abyss or in the rifts, you're going to want to do these duties every day as well. This is going to help you get that power spike level and help you get stronger by increasing your combat power and allowing you to farm PvP gear, but do it relatively safely from your own side of the map, where there's, you know, you're gonna have less people to worry about ganking you and stuff like that by doing the quests. But just be careful, because sometimes when the rifts open, there can be obviously people that come over here and are gonna be roaming around, and they may be trying to gank you and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut here and show kind of what it looks like whenever you complete the duty quest. You guys can see the rewards and go from there. All right, so just finished the duty quest here. You can see on the right, it's telling me to go ahead and tap to receive the rewards. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap that, and you can see it's gonna give me 500 abyss tokens, 25k kina, which is your in-game currency, and then a random reward. So I'm just gonna click complete, and you can see here I'm going to get, ooh, this is actually pretty good, 1400 enhanced stones. So that's not bad. And you can do 5 of those a day. Again, you want to do those to maximize kind of what you're doing every day so that you're getting the most rewards every day as you're logging in, and just making the most of your time while you're in the game. So you can do those 5 times a day, and you can refresh them. If for some reason you don't like the quest that you're given, you can refresh it as well and do a different quest. So that's kind of like the next step there, is doing your duty quest. Also, let me show you here. You're going to want to go to the abyss. Once you get to 45, you can actually come into the abyss, and there's going to be these quests that you're going to want to pick up. Now you want to buy the scrolls, but you don't want to use them yet. Essentially what you're doing is you're just buying them. They reset on a weekly counter. You're buying them so that when you get stronger, you can just knock them all out at one go. So here you're going to come to the command shop. These are the quests here. You can see they reset in 4 days. You would just come here, buy a bunch, buy these, buy those, buy those. You would just buy them all. And then here, I'll just show you what it looks like here. I'll buy one here, if it even lets me buy it. Not sure why it's not letting me buy it. Oh, okay. I'll just buy that one right there. I just had to double click, and then you're going to purchase. And you can see here in my inventory, it's going to show that I have the scroll here. So you can use it, but don't use it yet. I'm going to tell you guys when to use it. So you want to come here to the command shop, buy all this out, but hold them in your inventory. Don't use them yet. You're gonna use them later when you're a little bit stronger, so that the quests are a little bit easier for you. So you'll do that, and then you also have something called the supply quest. So with the supply quest, you're gonna go into here, which is kind of like your main UI, and then you're gonna go to supply requests. Now you got emergency and you got weekly ones. You also have seasonal ones, and then you have boss ones. What you want to focus on is the emergency and the weekly ones. Okay, now you can see here, if you churn in 3 of any of these items, you're going to get 280 enhanced stones, and you're going to get 850 abyss points. Now the reason that you want to farm these is because the more abyss points you have, the more you can come in here, and the quicker you can come in here and buy abyss armors. So you can come into the trade shop and come into gear, and you can see here with abyss points, I can get a whole set of PvP armor, and these are busted. All this stuff is busted. You can see here it gets PvP damage boost on this item, and all of the items here have either PvP damage boost or some type of PvP damage tolerance. So this is strictly for PvP. So if you're a big PvPer, this is some of the best gear that you can get in the game, and there's multiple sets of it. So as you progress through the game, you can upgrade your entire set. You can see here, I even went with the ring because I wanted to get an item. Here's the ring here. It's very strong. I got +2 to different skills. I got int, which is top rolled there, attack, defense, and PvP damage boost 5% flat, and that's going to be across the entire set. So you can imagine how strong someone is with a full set of PvP gear as opposed to someone who does not have any PvP gear. So that's why you want to be doing these supply requests, because it's an easy way to get abyss points, and depending on which ones you do are going to give more abyss points. You can see here with the artisan blacksmith weapon, if I turn in the artisan Oricum greatsword, you can see that I'm going to be getting 4,600 abyss tokens there and 1.5 essence stone. So if I want to take up crafting, and I want to go ahead and do crafting and do the greatsword here to try to get this sword, I can. You can do it just by leveling up your crafting. You craft one of these, and then you turn it into the supply request, and you're going to get that 4,600. Now this does change every day. I believe it resets every day, and then on the weekly ones, these change every week. You can see here, if I turn in 30 of this selenium, I'm going to be getting some tokens. So let's just do that for the video. I'm going to turn in 30, and it's going to give me 4.1 k abyss points and 1.3 enhanced stone. So we're just going to go ahead and deliver that, and it's going to give me the tokens there, and you can see that I have more abyss tokens there. So the next step in getting your gear score or your combat power higher is just doing exactly what I just told you guys, right? And if you do everything there, you do the supply quest, you do this, you buy the combat scrolls, you do your duty quests, you upgrade your amulet and belt, you collect all the feathers and do all your side content, that should put you somewhere between 1,300 and 1,400 combat power. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, now moving on. So every 3 hours, and they just changed this, it used to be every 4 hours, but every 3 hours there's going to be a rift that opens up. Okay, this rift is going to open up on your side of the map, and it's going to let you go through the rift, and in the rift you'll be able to go to the enemy side of the map. So you'll be able to go to the other factions map. Essentially, you'll be in their zone, and when that happens, you have 1 hour that you can stay in the rift, and while you're in the rift, you can go ahead and do all of the side content. So you can do sealed dungeons over there, and you can do strongholds over there. Okay, so the reason that's important is because if you're able to do all the sealed dungeons and all the strongholds over there, that's going to give you more chances to get more Divinian tokens, which is going to make you level out these boards a lot faster, and you're going to be able to put your Divinian coins or your Divinian runes in here, which is going to make you way stronger. So you're definitely, after you're about 13 to 1,400 combat power, you're going to want to go into the rifts every 3 hours, and you're going to want to do the sealed dungeons and the strongholds on the other side of the map. There's also quests that you can do. They're called let me see, they're space-time quests is what they are. Let me see here. So regional, so space-time rift. These are quests that you get to go into the rift, and you have to do them when you go into the other side of the rift. And you can see here, they're going to give you more Divinian tokens, more Kina, you're going to get stigma shards, you're going to get more abyss points. So that's another way to farm abyss points, is to do those space-time rift quests. And then also those abyss scrolls that you purchased earlier, you're going to want to start doing those at this combat power. And then there's something called the abyss corridor. So the abyss corridor, essentially, it's a thing that happens once a day where the corridors open, and I'll show you what that is really quick. They open and both sides fight for control of the corridor. Kind of think of it as like a King of the Hill thing, and whichever side wins gets to go inside these portals here. And the reason these are important is because inside these portals you can go inside the portal, and in the portal you can farm these mobs that give you abyss points. So those abyss points is pretty much like free farm. You can go in there and you can free farm abyss points for free, uncontested, but your side has to have control of the portal, and they're gonna fight over it once a day. So if you get the portal, I recommend going into this middle portal. It's the best one to go into and control the abyss. You just get more abyss points here than you do getting this portal over here. So you'll want to go in here, you want to fight for the portal and take it. You can see right here, Asmodean has this one, but the other side, Aelios, has this one. So we control both these portals here, and then they control this portal here. So for that whole day, you can go in there for a few minutes and you can farm those abyss monsters that are going to give you abyss points. So that's when you'll want to start doing that, when you're around somewhere between 14 to 1700 combat power. So if you do that, what we just talked about, that should take you to about 1700 combat power, which is kind of like where I'm at roughly. So what you'll want to do is just, like I said, that's when you want to start doing the abyss stuff. When you're around somewhere between 14 to 1700 combat power, that's when you're going to want to start doing the scrolls. That's when you're going to want to go into the rifts. That's when you're going to want to start doing the corridor, farming the abyss for the mobs, killing people PvP in the abyss, and then also getting the accessories from your tokens. Now, I recommend grabbing the accessories first, because you're going to get a much better power spike as opposed to just buying, an item, right? Because look at it, the daggers, 126k for just the daggers, which they are really good, very good daggers, but you get more of a power spike from the rings, the earrings, and the necklace. They're much cheaper as well, so you can get 2 rings, 2 earrings, and then the necklace. You could probably get that all much faster. Than you'll get more power spike out of those 3 than just getting like 1 or 2 armor pieces, in other words. Because remember, each one of these is going to give you a flat PvP damage spike. So this either going to give you PvP damage boost, or it's going to give you PvP damage tolerant. And all of these items, they're offensive items. So these are going to give you 10%. This is going to give you another 10%, and this is going to give you 5%. So that's 25% more PvP damage boost that you're going to be getting just for getting your necklace, your 2 earrings, and your 2 rings. So that's going to be my recommendation, is to stick with the accessories first. Don't just go straight for the weapon or your guard or anything like that. Go for the damage boost first, because that's going to scale the hardest. Now, once you do all of that, that should get you somewhere around 1700 combat power, which is pretty much where I'm at right now. And for the video, I'm actually going to go over here because I want to show you guys kind of, what happens whenever you start to tap your amulet, and when you start to tap your belt to get it to the gold status. So I can show you guys the power spike. So I'm not sure exactly how much this is going to give me, but let's just check it out for the video so that you guys can see it with your own eyes. So I'm going to go over here. I already turned in my feathers earlier, so we're just going to go over here. You can see I'm already level 30, so I'm maxed out on the monolith. So we're going to go into this substance morph, and you can see here that I can tap my belt. Let me see, actually no, I need to go here. I need to go into my cube, and then we're going to go to the amulet, and then we're going to go to enhance, and you can see here I've got 13. So we're going to go ahead and put it to level 8. You can see it costs 200k Kina, level 8 there, and then we're going to go to level 9, another 236, and I don't have enough enhanced stones to take it to level 10. But if I did take it to level 10, then what would happen is I would have just gone into here and went into the substance morph, and then I could have went into gear and I could have gotten the gold amulet. And you can see here the gold amulet goes from 7.5 weapon damage boost, and it's going to take me to 10%. So I'm going to get an additional 2.5% weapon damage boost. So that's a big multiplier there. I'm going to get perfect, which is, I believe, double damage. penetration is going to go up by 300, and I'm going to get a power shard damage bonus by 40, which is huge. So if I'm using power shards in PvP or in PvE, I'm going to do way more damage just by getting the amulet. And you can see here, the item level is 36 based on the blue, goes all the way to 65. So this is just this right here, probably going to take me somewhere, I would say high 1600s, maybe over 17. I'm not sure. I'll record another video once I get a gold amulet and once I get a gold belt. I just don't have any essence right now to tap it, but I wanted to show you guys that. So if you do all of that, you'll get somewhere around 1700 plus or minus combat power just by following the strategy. Now, once you're around 1700, what you're going to want to start doing are your Transcendence dungeons. The reason you want to do these is because you're going to be able to open up these. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you're opening up these cubes, right? And in these cubes, you get these Arcana cards. And these cards are busted. This is going to be your biggest power spike, is collecting these cards. They give you a lot of bonus damage and CP just by collecting them. And they have stat bonuses there that make you way stronger. So essentially, you're going to want to get at least to level 4. And then you can see these even cost 40 Odo. So you want to save those points. Instead of going to do your dungeons, you want to save them for this essentially. And you want to farm these Arcana, because this is going to be your biggest damage boost here, is farming these cards. What you want to do essentially is get to level stage 4, and then you can start opening up the chest. You don't have to open them up. Like if you do your first one, you don't have to open up the chest. Yeah, they're going to give you like base Arcana, and you're going to get, you know, Theostones, which are great, but save your coins until eventually you get to like the 4-ish, stage 4. Once you're at stage 4, you can then start opening up your Arcana. You're going to start getting better Arcana. And then as you grow in strength, you'll be able to go to like level 6. And then on level 6, you're going to be getting blue or rare Arcanas. And then eventually you'll get so strong that you can do higher level ones. Obviously, the last one, you're going to be getting the best rewards, which are the gold ones, completely busted. So your whole goal is, once you're level 1700, you want to start doing your Transcendence. And that's where you're going to be able to get to like that 2200 CP, is doing your Transcendence. Once you're around, I would say 1800, you can start doing the expedition conquest, and you can start doing the Vacron Sky Island if you want. It says 1600, but most people are not going to take you unless you're at least 200 over that item level. So once you hit about 1800, you can start doing this if you want. It does cost 40 Odal. And then once you come in here, you can see they've got some really good items here that you can get. It's heroic armor pieces that you can get, which are very high level. You can see that my pauldrons are only level 49, but this is 98, so it's double essentially the item level. And then you have all this gear that is really good as well that you can get. You can see this is level 76 item level stuff here. So, you know, if you're maybe lacking on the PvP side and you're not able to get the PvP armors and things like that, and you want to do some of the PvE stuff, you can. And that's just one way to do it. You can see here the item level is only 67 with the breastplate here on the PvP side, level 67. But if you go into the Conquest Vacron, you can see here that the item level here is 76. So you're going to get more item power doing this, but just keep in mind that this gear is not PvP gear, so you're not going to get PvP damage boost on it. So that's just something to consider, that if you're trying to climb the PvE side of stuff, you want to be getting this type of armor. Even though the PvP stuff is really good, you're going to want to climb the Transcendence, but you're going to want to have PvP gear for that. So that's just something to consider. And then obviously you just want to continue buying the PvP gear as you're getting abyss points, as you're doing all of your content. You eventually want a full set of gear, and then eventually you go on to the next set, rinse and repeat, until eventually you go to this very last set, which is super endgame. I mean, it's going to take you forever to get this stuff, but that's kind of the goal, right? You get one set, you keep farming, you get another set, and it just continue, rinse and repeat essentially. Now, the last thing, once you get to about 2200, you should be about 2200 once you're doing all of that content. You go to the Transcendence, and essentially you want to be doing it at level 6 is where you want to be farming, because in here you can get unique Arcanas, and you want to just keep farming all of this stuff essentially. Keep farming level 6, get your Arcana up. That should take you well over 2200 CP. And then once you're at 2200 CP, if you want, and what I would recommend is you can go into the Expedition, Conquest, and then you can try doing these last two. Now I know it says 2200, so you want to be somewhere probably around 2500, but technically you can start these at 2200. Fire Temple's great. You're gonna have a legendary or heroic ring there, which is great. And you're also going to be able to get pretty much best in class weapons here. So this weapon is very good. It's a level 84 dagger, and just like all the other items are going to be level 84 for each specific class. So if you're trying to go for endgame and push that 2200 plus to 2500 ish, which is where most people are going to be at endgame, at least in the very early stages of the game, you're going to want to do the Fire Temple and or this Ferocious Horn. Ferocious Horn does not drop any weapons or anything like that, so that's something to keep in mind. I mean, it does drop the blue weapons, but they're only level 67. So if you're trying to go for the gold weapons, you want to do the Fire Temple, because that's where you're going to be getting your legendary or unique weapons. There is the Fire Temple. But if you're going for gear, you're going to want to do Ferocious, because Ferocious is going to give you the best in slot gear there. So that's kind of like the end game, is to try to do these last two temples. For the weapons, you're going to do Fire Temple, and for Ferocious, you're going to be going for the armor pieces there. So that's kind of the 0 to 22 or 0 to 2400 guide there. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it broke down kind of steps that you want to take to get to that 2400 combat power. I kind of broke it down for you guys, and hopefully it makes sense. If you guys liked the video, be sure to smash that like button. It helps me out. If you guys have any questions or concerns, throw them in the comment section. I do respond to those myself. And if you guys want to see more guide videos like this or other tips and tricks videos, all you got to do is hit that sub button. Much appreciated. Also, I've got my Discord link in the bottom or somewhere in the video in my description. If you guys are looking for a PvP guild to join on launch, I'm starting to recruit NA players only. So if you're an NA and you know that you're a big PvPer and you want to play with the guild who loves PvP, we're going to be getting together with a bunch of content creators, making some good content for everybody. Click the link, join the Discord. Just keep it on your sidebar. As we get closer to game launch, I'm going to start opening up recruiting, and we're going to get the ball rolling. Thanks so much for the view and all the support. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.